You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello and welcome back to the Integration Station. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, here with a couple special guests. We've got Steve Mather back and also his partner Cease. And Cease is here to stand for cease whatever is going on and make the most out of what you can, with your health here. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all things health related. These guys are doing something really different in the nutrition supplement field. They have been at it for quite some time. So I'm really excited to pick their brain and learn something here as well. I'm really excited to share them with you. So without any further ado, I'm just going to bring them on and introduce them to you. Got Steve Mather here and Cease. Welcome. I'm going to let you guys do your own introductions. That way you guys really get an opportunity to say what you want to say. And then we can dive into some of the reasons why we're here. But feel free to take as much time as you need to share your story and what brought you here.
I'll go first. I've been here before. I'm Steve. I'm from atease.com. We have products for PTSD, depression, anxiety. We help some people with nutritional aspects of battling cancer, immune disorders, spike protein issues. I'm more in the end of the aspect of the microdosing and the psychedelic end. And my buddy Cease here is the man on everything nutrition. So I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Cease. Known Steve for Christ coming up on 40 years now. We used to be rock and roll heads. Now we're nutritional geeks. I started into I had a fancy for nutrition back in my 20s when I first started working out. With protein and carbohydrates. The carb loading back in those days was a big thing. And when I moved out from Calgary to here, I started a pet food company. It was the first holistic dog food available. It was called Solid Gold. I started distributing that and started studying nutrition more, started taking more supplements myself based on the research. This was if you ever heard the term biohacking, it's been around for quite a while. I could consider myself one of the original biohackers, doing things to stimulate like testosterone and muscle building in the gym, all these type of things. I used to spend probably $600-700 a month on supplements, probably more than food. So, I've been pill swallowing. The animal nutrition thing really taught me a lot. Beyond the one pet food, we expanded into supplementation. We were the first distributor to actually recommend and distribute supplements. And people supplementing a dog's diet with supplements was foreign to them. But the results we saw, Steve, I came over and visited him and his two dogs, Coco and
Angus,
and they were just a mess. Cleaned up their diet, got them all trained up, and wow, he saw the difference firsthand. Just how cleaning up their diet. What was it? Solid Gold and sea meal.
Yep.
Which is a blend of different seaweeds, and they returned to health probably within 30-60 days.
Oh yeah, the hot spots went away. The color all came in. It's that introduction that gets it so that I now have the Puppy Power Plus for dog Mika.
Basically, as beyond the animal nutrition thing, I created the first raw dog food in Vancouver too, with two partners. One from Denmark. We had a Finnish veterinarian come over and approve our diet. It was based on feeding like a wolf kill, raw cow stomach with digested plant fibers and nutrition in there. Yeah, it's been beyond doing the business aspect. It's been a lifelong passion to study nutrition, which inevitably entails digging deep into the science. So I'm just a science freak. I just love it. I could do it even today. I do it about 8 hours a day. And so where I'm at now with Steve and the products I've developed, about in 2020, in 2018, I let go of my company. The market just wasn't doable anymore. Too much competition, and I started studying research. I wanted to do my life passion, which is nutrition. So I started working on nutritional formulas, some of which are available to a certain degree on Steve's website. And I was going to launch a company called Thrive Active. Now, throughout all of this, and this COVID thing broke out, and I called bullshit on it right away. And I looked back at my files prior to this podcast, and I looked at the dates on which I saved my first studies, and it was 2 weeks after they called pandemic. So I've been studying this since basically April 1st, 2020. And the first year before the vaccines came out, I was studying how to protect against this this SARS-2 COVID-19 bullshit. So I started in my mind, I started formulating a list of nutritional aspects on how to protect this, and all the pathways that were identified on how this virus is screwing up the body. Then the vaccines came out, and that's when alarm bells went off, because they were saying it's experimental. It's this new technology, mRNA. So I started delving into this, and then my girlfriend took the flu jab, and she actually 2 weeks afterwards, her arm became 95% dysfunctional. So I looked into the aspects of that. I managed to bring her back to functionality within 48, 72 hours, just by a couple of nutritional supplements. Then her sister heard of this, and she approached me and said, I took 2 vaccines, and she's a registered massage therapist. She couldn't lift her arm. She was inflamed. She had just a laundry list of things. So this is when I really hunkered down, pulled together all my science, went deeper into it, and started developing products to address these vaccine injuries. So that's basically where we're at now.
And you guys have so much on the market when it comes to these like vaccine injury ones, nutritional support ones like your berries and greens and things like that. And you also have ones that are formulated for mental health, along with like the dog line. And you know,
well, you need to know that the Thrive Active and the Defender Biologics, that's Cease, right? I have the other stuff with John, but that's Cease. I've known Cease a long time, and I don't make many nutritional moves without talking to him first. Yeah. But I'm actually not his partner in those companies. I just know what they do, and I use those products, and I've watched what they've done for repairing damage and healing much disease in other people.
Well,
I'm pumping them.
I consider you a partner because I'm basically the manufacturer and you're the sales and distribution. So, you know, you may not be a formulator, but we have a partnership.
Yeah, okay. I'll accept that. But, you know, I'm sales and marketing because the shit works, not because we said, hey, we're partners in a business.
Yeah, well, I don't want to. The whole goal of this isn't to sell products just for the shits and giggles. It's about, you know, healing people, because I've managed to. I've never had a general practitioner throughout all my life. I've never taken vaccines. I despise drugs, prescription drugs, and there's always a way naturally to heal yourself. And that's what I've experienced. You know, whether it's something as simple as you get a cold, and first thing I do is I go for lots of dark berries, and I brew up some special tea, and you get into that mode, and certain things like using nettle and all sorts of natural, simple things that work with the body. You don't block let's say if you have a little flu bug or something like that you come down with, you let the body go through the process and you support it all the while, because the body learns from going through it. You don't avoid it. I mean, when you're in optimal health, your body will by itself avoid it as long as it's stoked with the proper nutrition. So, Ashley, a point you made I'd like to comment on was the Defender biologic stuff. The Thrive Active is the nutrition based, but what we found with the customers we've dealt with, and also the science, that the more you look at the science, that for instance V spike block, all the ingredients in there, when you keep on digging down the science, it's all of a sudden V spike looks like an anti-cancer supplement, because the ingredients, each ingredient is a multi-purpose, like its own Swiss Army knife. And when you look at the like Andrographis and Artemisia, these things are just they're all over the anti-cancer published studies. So it's really neat. Then you get into like the greens and berries. Well, those are the foundation of not only health but dysfunction, which is probably king of the castle is oxidative stress. And we're all just slaughtered with that, whether it's from diet, electromagnetic frequencies, all the technology, poor diets, even emotions. These are all stresses to the body, and it creates just chaos. Where there's oxidative stress, you have inflammation. You put those two together, you have dysfunction and dis-ease. Naked guy in the background. Streaker. So you see when you rip away the title of disease and you format it into dis-ease, then you look at the foundation. All dis-ease arises from simple little things like you address nutritional status and oxidative stress and inflammation. When you take care of those, a lot of the dis-eases go away and you come back to at ease.
At ease. Yeah, at ease. That's the Steve one. And yeah, you know what? It's been so great, like getting to spend time, with you guys and see how you come together, really as partners to help individuals. It's like you'll take each individual case and essentially like break down how do we go about this first, and then get this supplementation thing going. It's really just about getting accountability at that point, or learning how to hold yourself accountable to staying with the regimen, but you guys will really personalize it to each. Like today I was observing in this time that we've gotten that you're like, let's start with like just boosting up the nutrition stores, and then this and then that, and like there's so much heart and like and stuff in what you guys are doing, and I know that goes into the actual creation of all of this too. So I'm curious, what are some stories that have really helped I guess inspire the production of some of these products? Because I know that there's quite a few of them, and you've touched on different things from like cancer to vaccine injuries. So is there some specific stories that you're able to share there?
Steve, you want to go first?
Oh boy. On which end of things though? Because like there's pretty much every one of the products is created because of the story.
Yeah.
Right? Be it the creams, the cannabis creams with all of the essential oils and whatnot. originally that was started. I had eczema really bad, was on heavy cortisone cream, decided I was tired of taking the heavy cortisone, started to make one that would look after that went on to other people using it for arthritis. So the cream morphed into the ability to handle that and heavy pain. And then my daughter's torn up by the dog. Okay, here's the skin and scarring. Through the microdoses for myself, through the complex PTSD, along with the CBD and the one-to-ones that I use for myself. Like a lot of it was for me to get out of my own stuff. And then when I was working with cancer people, and Ceese was already working with the nutrition stuff and had the vaccine injury stuff, and we just came together and
it was time.
Well, it became what it became, but yours started out between your girlfriend and her sister, really, with the vaccine injury, really for this round of things, isn't it? Well, that and me going, hey, Ceese, I need some help.
Yeah, beyond the with my girlfriend too. I'm just trying to think the timeline. Probably. Yeah, just before she got the flu vaccine. So this COVID bullshit broke out, and Sandy's germaphobe came out of the closet, and she was just, and it's still there to date. So she's every time she goes out, she comes home, she was scrubbing herself silly with these cleansers. She'd shower, and basically people don't realize this, but on your skin is a microbiome. Well, she pretty much slaughtered that, and she ended up with these bumps and rashes that started breaking out. So she got in to see a specialist dermatologist, and he diagnosed her with lichen planus. And so she had to go on the special cream. Funny enough, when I looked at the ingredients, it's heavy niacinamide, vitamin B3 base. Then she had UVB treatments. I drove her out to Maple Ridge 2 or 3 times a week. She had these little quick blasts. But meanwhile, I studied the shit out of it. And I created a special shake blend for her. She's still on one today. It's got 50 ingredients in it. She takes every morning. But the dermatologist said it'll take at least 18 months to clear this up. With the nutritional blend I had her on, we had her cleared up in 3 months. So, that's the power of nutrition. And it's just a matter of digging into the science, seeing the dysfunctional pathways, seeing what nutrients correct them, and bada boom. The body, you help the body heal itself. So then there's her sister-in-law, who had a myriad of things going on with her. She was on the protocol last year. She had great healing. Doctor said going into May last year, keep on with this and you should be cleared up within a couple months. Well, summer came, she went off the protocol. By fall, all of her stuff started coming back, vaccine injury related. So she got back on the program January, February this year. She's been on it solid, and she's made market improvements. She's almost back to normal. And the the neat thing about this is we don't know how long the vaccine injuries will stay in people because of this spike protein, because the science is still unraveling on how long this stuff stays in the body. And the worst thing for her is she's a massage therapist, so she gets exposed to spike shedding from other vaccinated people 5 days a week. And even after 2 days at work, she tells me by the end of the day, she's 50% exhausted. So we have her protocol where she does the spike protection and nutrient stuff in the morning. When she gets home, she does like an anti-inflammatory and Michaud restore to restoke her energy stores. Now, I'll shorten this up a little bit. Her son
started working with that one.
Yeah.
Michaud restore. Can you tell us a little bit more? about it and about this shedding? Yeah.
Let me just grab my sheet here. Michaud Restore is mitochondria. The Michaud stands for mitochondria. Mitochondria are everywhere in the body, and they are the little power plants of the body. They generate the energy, which everyone is seeking. So basically, if people are fatigued at whatsoever, they have a mitochondria problem. Mitochondria produce the currency of energy in the body is called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And so when the mitochondria aren't properly working, the ATP production is down. And this is where oxidative stress is directly related. It slaughters your mitochondria. So you see how oxidative stress, there it is again. Everywhere you look, there it is. Within Michaud Restore, there's a heavy dose of magnesium malate. Magnesium, most people are deficient in. All magnesiums are bound to another mineral. In this instance, it's malic acid. And malic acid is part of the energy cycle. It's called the Krebs cycle. So some of the other things in there for the research, there's lots of synergies there with the amount of science that I've studied. Within each report, you'll find these little gold nuggets that'll explain, for instance, like curcumin, skullcap, quercetin, and EGCG all work in tandem to support mitochondria. So that's why they ended up in the formula. Then you have other nutrients in there. Vitamin C is necessary. Cordyceps, mushroom, Steve knows that one well. It's phenomenal both for energy and for oxygen supply in the blood. So when you see within each of these, just looking at my cheat sheets here, the flow, the mitochondria, a lot of these were based on, they were created because of subcategories of vaccine injury. Now with the V-spike block, that takes care of the spike protein, which is the main culprit, and it works in tandem with Polyshield and Steve's immunoblend. Those support the immune system, and those are the two big rocks. That's the basic protocol.
What's funny is all three, like the poly, the spike, and the immunoblend are also the top cam for the cancer hits too.
Yeah, because you're dealing with the first two questions we ask people if they come to us for healing usually is number one question I always ask is, have you taken the vax? And if so, how many and when? Because that in today's, this is the new reality since these things rolled out. If people have taken the jab, then there's enough science has accumulated over the last couple of years that it definitively shows that these vaccines cause all these new health disease, onset of health diseases.
Can you give us some examples of what that would be? What are the things that are showing up?
Oh, what was the one the World Health Organization just announced?
Multiple sclerosis.
Spike protein, they've just outright said spike protein is contributing to growth in multiple sclerosis.
So we're in.
The other one is turbo cancer. You'll hear that word now all over.
Yeah.
And all of this is also caused by oxidative stress, inflammation, imbalance, biomes. So
let me, if I was to summarize it, there's a song by Megadeth called 99 Ways to Die. This reminds me of spike protein because the amount of the laundry list of, we'll get into it more, but the things that spike protein does to the body, there's so many things that V-spike block alone cannot address them. So each of these supplements address different, they're more of the symptomology, the downstream effects of what spike protein does. So spike protein hammers your mitochondria, oxidative stress. So with oxidative stress, you have the products Michaud Restore, Ultimate Greens, and Power Berry. Those three together, if you do those all together in the morning, you won't need food, you won't want food, you'll have focus and energy for about 6 hours just by supplying those antioxidants. The greens, they activate these combination of greens. It's not just a bunch of greens slapped together. There's a method to the madness. These greens, they contain like broccoli, kale. They contain what's called sulforaphane, which is used against autism, to help autism. But they
broccoli sprouts.
Yeah, broccoli sprouts, kale, parsley. These all activate what's called NRF2, and this is the master antioxidant system in the body. So that ties in with another antioxidant system is the glutathione system, and that's slaughtered by COVID, the antioxidant. So there you have the GLUT force. So it addresses that. So this is how we kind of, depending on the symptomology that we get from people, then we can customize it and go, okay, we see what's going on here. Inevitably, we all have leaky gut, and the gut is where the immune system lies. So then you have, there's a correlation from a neurosurgeon called Dr. Jack Cruz, and he makes a statement that if you have leaky gut, you have a massive glutathione deficiency. So you see the magic interactions happening within the body. And you start to see the common denominators of the gut, immune system, and oxidative stress.
And of course, they connect through the vagus nerve highway to the brain that creates to the brain dysfunctions.
And I was just going to segue into that. In comes clear brain. So clear brain, when you look at it, go, oh, this is a brain formula. Yes, but it's also addressing specific bacteria in the gut. So it's actually a gut-brain formula. It's getting to the brain via modulating the gut, because the signals in the gut, that's where all your tryptophan is produced, in the gut.
Yeah, even the microdoses. People think the microdoses are all about the brain, but the microdoses go to the gut where they get processed and utilized to where they need to go to do the repairs.
Yeah. So I'll just finish off with the one little thing that success story. Marlene has that's Sandy's sister, Marlene. She has a son with schizophrenia. He's been on drugs and kind of in social withdrawal for the last at least decade. And we tried him on some supplements, and his schizophrenia took over, and he thought he was poisoning us. Thought we were poisoning him, so he went off them. Then he saw Marlene, his mom's results, and so he came back to his mom and said, I want to try these again. So I looked into schizophrenia, and there it is, screaming oxidative stress. So we put him on Glute Force, Ultimate Greens, and Powerberry, and started seeing more social interactions from him. Last Friday, I was we were all at a wedding. And when we went to say goodbye, I reached out to shake his hand. He actually hugged me. I was blown away. So he's trying to integrate into society again, which is it's heartwarming. Then there's other little stories. All the customers we've dealt with. There was a drummer recently. Steve knows, we put him on. He has a bum knee, drummer, so he needs this. We put him on Inflamiclear. He pretty much phoned Steve just about in tears saying thank you.
Yeah, he takes the Inflamiclear, the RSO cannabis oil, and the pain cream he utilizes. And take it, let the inflammation go down while you're playing, put the cream on, get rid of the pain aspect. So he's actually seen quite a bit of an improvement, and I think it's time for us to go next level on him and to work on the same thing, basically the gut protocol, and go with the repairing the leaky gut for him, because I have a feeling that's where most of it's coming from anyway.
Yeah, that seems to be something really common. I'm just going to share our sponsors on this note. Everybody can take like a few minutes for themselves. Let a lot of this information like seep in. Think about in yourselves, like, is there some inflammation or oxidative stress like going on with you? Are you experiencing anything like this? Like, just do a body scan in these couple minutes and just check in with yourself, because there's a lot of information that's going to be coming after as well that may bring solutions your way. And even that understanding on the body's intelligence and how really it's an amazing, I guess, I got amazing abilities to just heal itself. We just got to get out of our own way. So on that note, I'm going to share our sponsors and we'll see you back in a few minutes. Thank you guys for being here. We'll have you right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBG TV, broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Well, welcome back, everyone. All right, so let's get into this.
I wanted to mention something about what you said on your way out about something for everyone in health. When you think about what kind of diet is pushed for optimal health in today's world, it all starts with fruits and vegetables, right? So if you think about that shows you the power of the greens and the powerberry as the foundation of all health.
Yeah.
I'm not just pumping the products. I'm saying having those nutrients and addressing the oxidative stress. That's how powerful healing can be from a foundation.
Yeah, and as real food too, like I've got a really big thing about like not taking any pills or anything like that. But what's been coming up a lot lately, hanging out with Steve here and learning from him, is that it's actually eating food. It's just that some of this food doesn't taste very good. So having it in a supplement form and in a blend where it's working symbiotically with other things and formulated in that way, if you can get that in first thing in the morning, then the rest of the food that you eat doesn't really matter. You can still enjoy that food, but your body has everything it needs. And it's really hard to get everything that you need from the food today because of the way that our planet's been treated, and because we have been depleted and maybe have disease in the body, which depletes us, or
and our soil is been depleted.
Getting in. Yeah, our soils and our guts really are a fractal of each other, eh?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I tried putting them into powder. I have two powders I've developed. They're called Sustenance and Radberry, and they're flavored up with some stevia, natural flavor extracts, and coconut milk powder to make them palatable. The original version, though, I think the quote from one person was, "This tastes like ass." Right? There you go. You can here's all the good stuff for you. Now mix it up into a shake. Well, they don't know how to make it taste good, and so you're going to get rejection on people taking this. And then you gotta 40% of the formula of these nutritional powders is to flavor it up. Fruity Pebbles, I call it, because everyone wants it.
Also, we run into issues like with what happened with Rusty. The gut biome is so destroyed that he couldn't actually take them in that form because they were so potent that he had to take things in a smaller form. He had to take the capsules and let the body absorb them, because when he was trying to drink them down, it was just too much. We've had a few where the detoxification coming from doing the shake is just so powerful that they have to slow down and move to the capsules just to get through, because their body won't allow that to be powerful.
Yeah, maybe not the dysbiosis, but definitely what would aggravate and cause the system to revolt would be leaky gut. Because if you have leaky gut, then as soon as you put leaky gut will leak all these, they're called endotoxins and lipopolysaccharides. They'll leak this into the bloodstream. But if it's leaky, then natural products like berries, even greens, all these nutrients will also leak in, and the body doesn't want anything leaking in. So even though it's good, it shouldn't be in the bloodstream that way. It's supposed to get processed through the gastrointestinal system. So that's how, even good foods can be interpreted as, not good for someone because their system rejects it because they have leaky gut.
So what's the first step to healing that leaky gut?
It's twofold. You need the supplementation for repairs. The leaky gut supplements aren't going to do it itself. It's a commitment to a lifestyle change. You got to stop eating the glyphosate-laden GMO foods, carbohydrates. You have to learn how to modify your diet, which is part of our protocol.
Modify your diet, not your food. You don't want them to modify food, but modify your diet.
That's funny.
Yeah, I just thought.
So, for instance, a lot of times when we're addressing people with leaky gut, we'll give them recommendations like get on some raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut, get more fermented foods in, little things like this, more prebiotics, so insoluble fiber, people don't get enough fiber.
You get like chia
and the
seeds,
mushroom blend. The
flaxseed.
mushroom blend puts fiber in there. The mushroom puts the polysaccharides in there.
Yeah.
The cruciferous vegetables.
So if you take yogurt, which is a probiotic, you get a good Greek yogurt high in probiotics, and you soak the chia seeds in them, then you have magic there. So you're getting all this omega-3s, fiber, and the prebiotics, and it creates this synergistic magic in the gastrointestinal system. Same thing, the concept behind Radberry is all the, beyond the powerful antioxidants contained in all these different berries, is their Radberry is also loaded with prebiotics, cocoa or cacao, beetroot, and Codonopsis, which is a Chinese root, which stimulates bifidobacteria. So it's the synergy, the magic that happens between fruits and fiber. When it meets with the good bacteria, there's a whole bunch of secondary, they're called metabolites, that happen. And these just benefit not only the gastrointestinal system, but they share those health benefits with the rest of the body. So the leaky gut, a lot of it is the supplement is supplemental too. So it's always an addition to. If you're not going to correct your lifestyle and your diet, then you're only going to get so much healing. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, as you said, if there's, a tear in that lining, and even then the good stuff isn't always that good. Maybe this is to, one of the issues with a lot of food sensitivities and things like that today. I mean, there's lots that plays a role.
People are eating lots, and it's not absorbing. It's not doing it.
There's no nutrients in a lot of it either. And then because it's not real food and toxic, their body isn't able to absorb the nutrients that are there. It's just storing everything away because it can't filter out all the toxic stuff.
Gut also leads to the run of sepsis. It's, we've got an overabundance of sepsis running through our system right now as well. And what is sepsis? Oh, it's your system going septic because your gut is leaking septic stuff.
Yeah, that's the endotoxins. Your gut leaks the endotoxins, and once they enter the bloodstream, the dis-ease is labeled sepsis, right? So the pathway is the pathway and culprit is leaky gut and endotoxin. The end result, dis-ease, is sepsis. And so people with leaky gut, then you have sepsis, then you have, if it's in the gut, where else does that end up? In the brain. And yeah, it's a cascade of chaos that all emanates from the gut.
Do you know what it is?
It was funny because when I was first working with, the PTSD and the complex PTSD and working on the brain and formulating my stuff and going through, and my vision is as I'm reading all the studies, okay, I take the lion's mane and it gets mixed in with the psilocybin, and then I get in the reishi and all of this, and then you read about how, okay, it stimulates and makes the neuroplasticity happen and neurogenesis, and it'll regrow the telomeres in the brain, and my whole focus was up there. And then as I got back into working with cancer people, as my PTSD got better and I started to look into new formulations of things that could help cancer people, and I started to realize all those same mushrooms do the same things against cancer. And then talking to Cease, all those same things that fight the spike protein and the COVID stuff fight the cancer. And it was kind of a, but how? And in the end, it's, it all goes into the gut. And every nutrient and thing that you go in there is a key to a lock in the immune system that empowers the body to do what it does, which is
heal,
disease,
and function optimally.
But for me, it took quite a bit. Like, Cease really helped me with wrapping my head around. It's not about going to the brain to heal the brain. It's about going to the gut to activate the immune system and the symbiosis of how our pathways go, so that when the body goes into healing, utilizing the cannabis oil, putting the body into a healing homeostasis with CB1 and CB2 receptors. You know, you put it into the homeostasis. Then you give the gut biome what it needs in there to make the generation happen. And as the body heals, it doesn't care if it's the brain or cancer or a leaky gut, or as the body gets what it needs to heal, it heals.
Yeah, everyone knows the saying, as above, so below. That's kind of funny because that's exactly what happens in the body. The brain, there's the bidirectional communication. So the people think the immune system, first off, they don't know actually where it is. So it predominantly is in the gut, but the signaling to the brain also has its own immune system. And so when you have dysfunctions in the gut, which is the immune system, that signals to the brain. That's the cascade that it's called downstream effect. In this case, it's upstream. You know, it's up, but it's still called, in science, it's called downstream. That activates neuroinflammation and these immune system critters, things in the brain, which everything in science is good and bad, right? There's nothing that's science, and the body is not black and white. Yeah, oxidative stress can be great after you work out, but prolonged oxidative stress, not good. So when these activate in the brain, they're called microglia. They're the immune warriors in the brain. When they're overactivated, then you have all these neurodegenerative diseases and neuroinflammation and stroke. So, yeah.
You know, it's like there's so much here.
Wait, dun, dun,
Wait,
dun, dun,
the
dun,
clear
dun.
brain.
Okay, so after what you've just said, give the place for this particular one in how it works with some of those dysfunctions.
So the like as I alluded to before, it addresses certain bacteria in the gut, and those bacteria are E. coli, Klebsiella, curly, which is a nasty thing produced by E. coli, H. pylori, lipopolysaccharides, Pseudomonas, and Staphylococcus aureus. It also addresses Epstein-Barr virus. So these are all culprits in the gut. Those are just the gut aspect to the clear brain formula. It also addresses other things like the gut barrier. They're called tight junctions. When those loosen up, there's proteins that regulate tight junctions. When those are dysfunctional, then you have leaky gut. So there's claudin and occludin. Those are the tight junction proteins. Both of those are addressed in the clear brain formula.
It's great stuff, you know, like as I was saying, like there's just so much here.
Yeah, it's I'm blown away by all the science has taught me that the interconnections never stop. It's remarkable how the human body works. One thing is connected to another. You can always find a connection if you keep on digging long enough. You will find that connection.
Connections. Right?
And here was one of the newer products that you put together that actually is one of the connections that goes in with what you were just talking about, correct?
Immunomod is. Let me get
it modulates the Treg and the T8 cell balance for autoimmune disorders, inhibits the Th1, Th17 cell differentiation for associated pathways, and the FOXP3, the FOXP3 protein to regulate the immune response.
Yeah, the FOXP3 is the big one. So in there's always two sides to everything in the body, the good, the bad. And as I alluded to, there's it's neither is right or wrong. So with the immune activation, you have T1 or TH1 and TH2. They're two different branches, and these go back to the immune parts of the immune system. So one is inflammatory, and one is anti-inflammatory pathways. So within each disease, that's why we customize certain things. Like sometimes you actually want inflammation in the short term, because inflammation has its purpose in the body. If it didn't, then the body wouldn't have it in there. But with autoimmune disorders, when you look into specifically rheumatoid arthritis, you start to identify in science these certain components that have gone too far to one side. So you need to bring them back and balance it out. And that's the whole essence of the immunomod, is identifying these, the TH17, IL-17, and FOXP3. Then you have...
I found for a couple of people, these two here, when it comes to battling the inflammation, that these two combined seem to, people go, wow, I'm really feeling this.
See, me and Steve are always on the same page, because I was just about to allude to, beyond the switching the polarization, it's called, of the immune system branch, then you identify the inflammatory culprits. And those are addressed in the immunomod, but more so in the inflammaclear.
Yeah.
And the inflammaclear isn't your run-of-the-mill just inflammation thing. Otherwise, it would just be, curcumin and boswellia. How originally the name was going to be called lipid raft, RAFT, because that's what's behind the inflammaclear. These cholesterol-rich lipid rafts. These are mechanisms by which not only inflammation, but all these nasties that are going on in the body and the spike protein, they're using these cholesterol-rich lipid rafts to migrate around and pollute the body. And because the part of the mRNA vaccine, there's the spike protein and the mRNA, but it's very fragile. So it needs to be wrapped in this lipid nanoparticle, lipid meaning fat. And also part of that is cholesterol. So this is how it's fusing with the body's cells, and then using these cholesterol lipid rafts to migrate around and cause destruction. Neat, eh?
Yeah.
Do they have little oars to row the rafts?
Yeah.
Yeah, like... I like your humor. You guys are like really great at making the science like digestible, so simple that, young kids could get it. And same with like, the way that the supplementation is, it's like, you don't have to taste it, like our palate nowadays is like so used to sugar and fats and all that. You guys are bringing it up in another way. I wanted to dig in a little bit more into the vaccine stuff, like some of what you guys have figured out, like along the way, because there's going to be people from like all different walks of life here, some that have taken it, some who haven't, some who, have out of fear. And, there's so many people have gone through the entire spectrum when it comes to this stuff. I'm wondering if you can make that a little, make that simple for anybody who's listening today.
Okay, I'll try from my perspective, I called bullshit on the vaccines.
Yeah.
I called bullshit on the vaccines immediately. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just know that I've studied vaccines, and I know, like even the annual influenza, if people knew the efficacy of the influenza vaccine on stopping influenza, is in some years it's as low as 15%. So why would you inject this stuff into your body if they knew it was only 15% effective? Would you take it? So people are on people. people trust the health officials, so they coerced people with fear and threats. You'll lose your job, you won't get your life back until you take the jab. So beyond analyzing all that bullshit, now where we're at now is the science is clear that vaccine injuries are real. Now, why did some people get affected and some people didn't? The science on that, leading doctors and experts, they claim that it could actually be the mRNA is so sensitive that the temperature by the time these were mishandled and by the time they were injected, the mRNA, the lipid nanoparticle had dissolved and the mRNA was destroyed. There was no placebos here. The other people, there's a different timeline on this too, and we're really seeing it now. There was the initial what you could be deemed as anaphylactic shock, the immediate reactions within, let's say, 30 days. Then it kind of quieted down, and then all of a sudden, after about a year, we started hearing about all these top athletes dropping dead. Sudden death. There was actually a documentary put out called "Died Suddenly." People should watch it. You can find it on Rumble. It's a great documentary showing all this stuff. The truth is coming to light here. Now, like even my sister-in-law, she didn't have vaccine injury symptoms till 6 months after her second dose. So these are almost time released. So tracking that back into
now, hold on, Cease, because your sister-in-law has an official vaccine injury diagnosis, correct?
No, only by me and her.
Okay. I thought that at one point the doctors had said she had vaccine-induced.
No. She went and saw a GP and he diagnosed her with rheumatoid arthritis. There's no family history. So digging into the science, I found there's a new disease, imagine that, coincident, that is called acute onset rheumatoid arthritis. While looking into the science, this is one of the autoimmune diseases caused by spike protein, right? Now, let me just jump back that the three components, this new technology, mRNA, I looked into it and it's verified that all mRNA, these science boys and pharma have been trying to develop this for 20 years, 100% failure until this came out. Well, does this mean a success? No, this was authorized under emergency use. So they rammed it through. There was no clinical trials done on it proper. It was run through, out of fear and propaganda. They pushed this through, and basically everyone who took it is in a worldwide global clinical trial, and now we're starting to see the effects of it. The spike protein, the lipid nanoparticle. I'm kind of off course here. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's okay, Cease. What we do actually is, sorry.
So the doctors, if you go to see a GP, they're still in denial. They haven't done the research on this. They'll say it's all in your head. Vaccine-related injury, especially a year and a half after you've taken your shot, they're screaming, there's no causation. You can't make a correlation. It must be something else. And it's all in your head.
But there is actually like a separate vaccine court, is there not? Like for vaccine injury?
Say that again?
Like a separate court system and things where they're dealing with and systems in place to deal with
systems
this
in place
right
for
now.
vaccine injury. There's been a few people in Canada already awarded
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've looked through Health Canada's vaccine injury document on their website, and by the time I scrolled through a couple of paragraphs, I just laughed and went, "This is pathetic. You have to go to court, right? So people got to pay, get a lawyer. They have to go to court and prove scientifically that their disease is caused by the vaccine." Well, I know the legal system. There's bloody blue chance in hell you're gonna prove that in a court of law that there's causation. No way. So Canada has doled out their token vaccine injury claims. In the U.S., I think it was about a month ago, I read a report. They just released claims for a few people amounting to $4,500. So how many Americans are there? 325 million. How many are vaccine injured? I mean, we don't know because this isn't talked about on mainstream news. It's like, kind of pushed away. Getting back to the point is that we're at the stage now instead.
People are losing people, and it's not all and I'm not saying that it's all vaccine, but it seems like there's a lot of people passing away right now.
Yeah,
myocarditis, which is, it's proven, it's in the science. There's all the published studies. There's the pericarditis happening, the heart attacks happening, the blood clots happening. There's a lot.
There's two leading doctors out there, brave doctors that are exposing the truth. I think both of them have lost their license because they're speaking the truth. One is Peter McCullough, and another one, a pathologist out of Oregon named Dr. Ryan Cole. People should look into him and listen to him speak. He's a pathologist, so he does biopsies on tissue post-mortem, and what he's finding in these tissues is just loaded with spike protein. Now here's the difference. It could be SARS. No, spike protein comes from SARS, but in order for it to be viral, it has to have this thing, it has to show nucleocapsid. That's the viral protein. And these tissues, after postmortem, they're only showing spike protein. There's no nucleocapsid. So it definitively proves that it's the vaccine. And
because if it was a natural spike protein from COVID, it would have those, correct?
If it was from COVID, the actual virus, it would show nucleocapsid and spike protein, but the tissues are only showing spike protein. So all the governments and health officials were, for the last year and a half, they've been screaming any kind of truth regarding vaccine injuries was labeled misinformation and disinformation. Well, you can't hold back the truth. It inevitably comes out. And that's what's happening now. But we're at the point where there's still a lot of denial beyond regurgitating how we got here and the decisions and the coercion and the non-informed consent and all that bullshit. What we have to deal with now is healing people.
Healing, moving forward. Yeah.
Because
and hey, Ashley, it's time for an ad.
I know. That's why I'm don't worry about it. But I'm glad that we got to finish. But yes, here we go. Let's share our sponsors. They're doing great work too in the cannabis space. I also want to give a shout out to Dennis McKenna, because when we were talking about symbiosis there, I had remembered about the symbiosis symposium that I did through the McKenna Academy. So that might be something to check out along with these other doctors. What were their names, Cease? Dr.
Peter McCullough and Dr. Ryan Cole.
Don't forget, we should be talking about the geneticist Kevin McKernan as well.
Yeah, well, I'll mention him when we come back.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Is 420 camping your thing? Do you like cannabis cops? Want to learn more about cannabis? Enjoy music festivals? Living on the East Coast or looking for a really good reason to visit? Then Harvest Fest is calling your name.
Join us the weekend of July 14th to 16th at Fox Mountain Camping Park in the Annapolis Valley, Nova Scotia, to meet like-minded people, have your cannabis questions answered, listen to great bands, and have a blast.
Service lots available and camping is included in festival admission. $60 for the weekend, or $30 for Friday, and $40 for Saturday. Food trucks, hot showers, flush toilets, and accessible washrooms. Rolling contest sponsored by Canadian Lumber Limited, with chances to win a case of rolling papers and more throughout the weekend.
For info about attending or vending, email chair@mumm.ca. Hope to see you there.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGT.
All right, welcome back, you guys. Thank you. So tell me about this cannabis geneticist, Kevin McKernan.
Yeah. So I stumbled across this probably within the last 2 months. It's an interesting story. He was looking to do some study on some kind of plasmids, they're called, to do with cannabis, and he was looking around for checking his friends for certain vials of that would have these plasmas in them. He couldn't find any, but his friend said, I have some Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, so you could use those. So he took those. He wasn't looking specific for anything vaccine related. It was about these plasmids. And so when he started doing his analysis, something popped out and he said, well, wait a minute, let's see. So he switched his mindset and started looking at the vaccine aspect. And this is it's starting to go viral because it's such a major breakthrough, and it was discovered by accident. What he found was the mRNA in these vials was it's cultivated on, it's grown on E. coli bacteria, and they're called DNA plasmids, and they encode spike protein. So that's a mouthful right there. So you have the mRNA, E. coli, DNA plasmids, not RNA. RNA, people were saying these RNA vaccines can be reverse transcribed into your DNA, making them permanent. Well, this cannabis geneticist, he's finding E. coli DNA plasmids. Those are going right into your DNA. They're permanent. And they encode the spike protein. That's huge. That means your E. coli in your gut are now permanently producing spike protein. And these are antibiotic resistant. That's huge. So now this becomes...
for anybody who's
this becomes beyond the mRNA that people's bodies may be, the mRNA injected into people, the vaccines, it contains instructions to the body to create spike protein. So beyond that, we still don't know how long it lasts. The one report I found is still showing spike protein 15 months after vaccine. So we don't know how long the body's producing the spike protein. Now in comes these E. coli gut-based DNA, so it's permanently written into your DNA, and they're generating spike protein. That's above and beyond the spike protein that the vaccine may be generating. So to me, it's like, wow, that brings in the, it's kind of a neat nod to the cannabis world.
Yeah.
And they found that CBD actually works in battling some of the spike protein issues.
Yeah, in my science, I send Steve studies once in a while, but I come across the CBD is right in there with all the nutritional supplements and the COVID stuff, the brain, the gut. I mean, CBD is powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to work with that too. You know, I think diversity is really key here. I love that there's a diversity of different supplements that are available from you guys across the board with your other partner, John, as well. But also, you know, there is like this diversity in the cannabis field, in the medicine field in general. You know, I think there's definitely something to that. There's a reason why our soils do better with diversity, and so do we.
Oh, that's good. Yes. Yes, we do better with diversity. Hey, I want to get a little plug in. I know that, you know, we're jumping in on the immune system, the gut biome, and the vaccine injury stuff. But, you know, part of this started with the aspect of coming up with things for PTSD and brain health, which, you know, stepped into the microdosing aspect, and mushroom blend in there. But also jumped right in to create a couple of products with the symbiosis that literally, you know, fold right in, so that these combinations of products do absolutely immense work at helping quiet the PTSD or the complex PTSD brain.
So can you share like what it is you have there?
Oh,
what is it that you have? How does it do that? Like, how does it work symbiotically with each other to help with these mental health issues?
Okay, well, the ones that I did, this is the 7 mushroom blend, and then it's mixed in with rhodiola and raw cacao. The cacao has recently been added. It puts in the heart health. Raw cacao also generates stem cell regeneration or upping of your stem cell generation. The mushrooms in there for what they do for the immune system, what they do for the neuro aspect. And then I had the psilocybin aspect, which is also mixed with like this one here is the Scoobies or the Scooby snacks, which is mixed with lion's mane, ashwagandha, ginkgo biloba, brahmi, Siberian ginseng, poti, astragalus, L-theanine, alpha GPC, and GABA. You know, all worked around creating added focus, added calm, bringing the amygdala generation down so that, you know, you can compress the hyper emotionality and hyper focus and bring that in. And
but like Ceese was saying, this is also really good for the gut too, right? Because a lot of these are adaptogens.
Yes. And then he came in and said, hey, I put a couple extra things. I'll let you talk about these, because this was the first one that you went, hey, I made something that goes as an add-in. So yeah. You talk about this, Cease.
Nerve chill, there's nothing magical about it. It's looking into a lot of it's the Western-based herbalism, and it's just because people are so strung out, right, beyond the PTSD aspect, that people's nerves are just fried from all the stress, money, economics, you know, just the shit show that's going on in life, that everyone needs to chill out, right? So this, beyond helping your nerves chill, that some of these also help nerve regeneration.
Yeah. And some people are scared of, you know, they're still scared of taking the microdoses, the ones with psilocybin and stuff. And when you can get introduction this way and start to grow, you also brought this one in, which I really like this add-on as well. I've started utilizing this one myself.
Yeah, just one note about the nerve chill. The original formula had St. John's wort in it, which I really wanted in there. But we found a problem with too many people are on SSRIs
and MRIs.
And St. John's wort does not work well with people on those type of drugs. So I removed that, so it's more friendly to the body, and it works great. You know, anytime you're experiencing stress, you just pop those. Whether you have PTSD or not, everyone needs a chill out once in a while. So instead of reaching for, you know, a bottle, you go with that. Now
and these just go hand in hand together.
Oh
the
yeah,
rhodiola and the cacao added in this with the mushroom blend. These are just sweetness together.
the iAdapt was the basis of the formula. It inhibits cholesterol metabolism. So within the PTSD and all the psychosomatic stuff that's happening in the brain, the stress, all that type of stuff, inevitably brings in the endocrine system. And within that is called HPA axis. That's hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, because they take a beating, right? That's why people get, when you have so much stress, you have excess cortisol. So we need to regulate that. And if you have prolonged stress for too long, you get adrenal fatigue and adrenal burnout. So these address that. They balance adaptogens like Schizandra is great for balancing the HPA axis. So that's there's a bunch of other things. They're called CRH and ATCH, along with cortisol. These are all part of the HPA axis. That's so it's a cortisol adaptogen. It works in a parallel symbiotic with like Scoobies and nerve chill.
Yeah.
Just another component to address, so you get the holistic approach.
And I'd like you to give a little bit on this, because this is really important and people don't realize just how important this is. And as I start to, as I go a little more deeper into things about thyroid and the hormonal aspect of things, this constantly comes up, and the mineral content. So if you can give a little bit on this one.
The Super C Veg, see that one says plus on it. The original one was just it had 7 different types of seaweed, and as I mentioned before about the pet nutrition, the seaweed that I put Steve's dog on, it was a dog product, but I was capsulating it and taking it myself, and my hair, skin, and nails just blossomed. So the micronutrients that's providing just shows you how deficient we are. Most people are deficient in iodine. Specific forms of seaweed, there's 2 of them in there that provide Mother Nature's natural iodine. So it helps with thyroid problems. Now, beyond out of all the ingredients, the seaweeds are the most, they're called pleiotropic, which means multi-purpose, like the Swiss Army knife. They just do so many things. They help with cardiovascular, blood clotting, gut repair, leaky gut. There's just so many benefits to seaweeds. Now, you try and put seaweed in a diet, most people will be, gagging it and throwing it up. They won't take it. So we put it in capsules. And as I looked at it, I wanted to refine the power of the seaweed. So I picked out the biggest thing that stood out about it is the gut. And that's where I added in these extra nutrients like goji berry. Now, this makes it more of beyond all the stuff that I mentioned, this really focuses on makes it a powerful gut restoration product.
Okay, and you've also got Atractalodes and Kotsu root in there. What do you got on that?
I have to find my notes on it. Atractalodes is it's widely used in traditional Chinese medicine. It's one of their go-to herbs. I'm just trying to find my notes here on it.
Oh, sorry, man, because I know the last time you just gave me the rundown on it, and I was like, holy crap, because I'd actually never heard of it.
Oh, sometimes I think that happens, like when we first learn about something, we're like, I gotta like get it out. But like one thing that I thought was crazy is my younger brothers grew up in the city, and in their school, they were given iodine pills because they lived by a nuclear power plant. So essentially, like that's supposed to protect them or people from that if they're living in that area, or if there is an explosion. So that was like one thing that came up about iodine, but also I know a lot of people being deficient in it, and with rice being modified the way it is today too, sometimes with having a high rice diet, that can deplete iodine as well. So sushi being a good idea because you're mixing it in, but that's probably one of the only ways. What I learned in nutrition school though is that you can actually cook rice and quinoa and all that with seaweeds right in it, and then like pull it out afterwards when you're done, but it gets into the water. But what you guys are doing here makes it accessible every single day without having to like take all of those steps. It's just simplifies everything. But I know you're ready now, Cease. What have you got on this supplement here?
The Attractaloads, I mean, it does so many things. I use it in a couple of formulas. I think it's in the Michaud Restore too, because it's a powerful mitochondria stimulant. But specifically for the Super C Veg, it addresses those leaky gut tight junctions, both of those, and it's a powerful broad spectrum glutathione. So glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body. With glutathione has all these accompanying enzymes called superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase, catalase. Attractaloads provides all of those. So it's providing antioxidant protection specifically for the gut.
Wow. There's so much, like Mama Nature is just so incredible. You know, like our bodies are great at healing ourselves, but like we really have grown symbiotically with these plants, frogs, and fungi since the beginning of time. You know, it's really all we need is just come back to the basics. You know?
Well, you know what's really funny is when it comes to the nutrition stuff, Cease brought me around to it through my dogs, and I now have a different dog, and she turns 18 next month. And because of her age and her health issues, it actually turned into a couple of products as well for her. And Cease and I are actually discussing adding a little more into the pet line as well, because it's just shown so much more. And, you know, he kind of chuckled and said, hey, you know, that's where I started, eh?
Yeah, it's funny how things come full circle. You know, Mika being 18, like that's a pretty big feat. I'm curious if you guys are willing to share your ages with the audience, because I know you're old school rock and roll, you know.
Well, let's just say that in the 80s we had big hair, and he had a guitar with fretboards all lit up, and what do you want to go for age, Cease? 90?
No, I'll do the truth. I'm 59, but inside I'm still 22.
And
my spirit's 22.
You know, what did I say? I'm 50-12. I used to be 40-22, but now I'm 50-12. I got a little older.
Yeah, but this is great, you know. Like, thank you so much for sharing this and like everything. You guys are like, you're doing what one of my like own goals is here is to like just share people like you that are heart-centered in what it is that you're doing. And you really are doing this for the right reasons. You're ahead of the game. When it comes to the science, you were able to already have solutions before a lot of big problems were coming up. And you were able to, you know, really connect the dots and bring things together to start helping people right away. You were able to rise up in a time when the world was upside down. And, you know, that's saying a lot for, you know, who you guys are and what you're willing to do here. Now, we got about 5 minutes left or so. What else would you guys like to share, and how can everybody contact you?
Well, basic contact would be the at-ease.com website or @ease, ATEZE.ca website. they can get a hold of, well, you can get me through there, and if the questions are deep enough, I'll bug Cease. But he's pretty busy trying to heal the world right now.
No, I'm just trying to figure out having the answers to the people that have questions that actually, which kind of leads into my final thoughts are that people, I'd love for people to, with all the shit that's gone on with this COVID, that come to the realization that look back and see, has your health changed since you've taken the vaccine? If so, then contact us and we may be able to help you get back to optimal health, because people are getting almost tolerant of this less than optimal health state beyond just the dysfunctional diet and our Franken foods that we eat, that people have forgotten what optimal health is, you know.
And I've had quite a few people actually get a hold of me about vaccine injury as well. It's interesting that there's people that get a hold of me that are vaccine injured, that are scared to say they're vaccine injured because they don't want to get stomped by friends and family that we're all about being vaccinated. Yeah. Yet they're vaccine injured from getting the vaccine.
Yeah. We just had a girl contact us the other day, Steve, and she was like, she is 19 years old, living with her family, and they are like, anybody who's an anti-vaxxer needs to be in jail is her parents' view on things, so she can't go to them, but she's experiencing injury and she has nobody to talk to. And to be that young, just starting your life as a young adult, you know, it's nice to know that there are people out here, you know, that can listen, that are, you know, searching to find answers, and that do have some solutions that are nutrition and nature based, and that are, you know, made from the heart for people that need them, you know, for you guys out there that are seeking this kind of nutritional support. And another thing too that I would like to add, you know, right at the end where you guys are supposed to be finishing your spiel, but Dr. Mark Hyman, one of my own teachers, and you know, I love his book. We're talking about the diabetes being an epidemic, and that was long before all of this vaccine stuff and long before COVID. But he said this is the first generation where children's life expectancy is less than their parents, and that was before this. You know, people are getting too used to living a shitty quality of life. You know, our ancestors had so much energy. You guys are great representations of what it can be like to live life and still have great energy at your age. You guys are out saving the world after, you know, sharing rock and roll with the world. And, you know, this is absolutely amazing. You guys are great examples. I'm so grateful to be able to learn from you guys and spend some time here and share you guys. You know, I really do wish more for our children, you know, you guys are leaving a great legacy behind. I'd like to see more people do that as well.
Well, thank you for having us on and giving us a chance to share. And I'm actually, you know, I'm honored and beyond that Cease came on, because he has the ability to explain to the depths that I just don't, you know, at this point I don't have the ability to go there.
Yeah, hopefully I kept it, you know, not too sciencey, because I have a tendency to go deep, too deep into the science and get people lost.
Yeah, I was trying to tell him like as simple as it can be. Yeah. But there's a lot.
I try and make the analogy so people can comprehend it. So beyond, you know, splashing in what Fox P3 does, that I can try and add in that, you know, it's a switching of railroad tracks in the immune system. And by taking these supplements, it rebalances it, brings them back to, you know, it's called homeostasis, where everything is okay and at ease.
At ease, yes.
You know, something to add on to what you said, Ashley, is, you know, the people the vaccine injured have been ostracized by their family, their doctors, and, you know, we want to raise awareness that there is help and there is hope and there is healing. And, you know, we've had success with this.
Yeah,
And it's
work
just,
with us and we'll work with you because this is all new. Let's get her done.
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you